of love, where our yearning for Master and our yearning for God translate into wings, and those wings take us to our true home. Really, there is a fire in our heart that is raging, and that fire is to be in love with love and to merge into love, into the ocean of love, into the ocean of Master, into God and the kingdom of God. That yearning is a pain. That yearning is a pain in the lover's hearts. And that pain stays there till the soul merges with the supreme soul. And that pain, the fire of longing is really what takes us to our destination. It's a big blessing, even though it's painful, but it's a blessing. It keeps us going forward, that we want to be in divinity. We want our original state of totality. We want to be in love. We want to get rid of this world. We want the Lord to be our only strength and to depend 100% and have faith in the Lord. In Shabd that Nitin sang, it's in Guru Arjan Shabd, that the Lord is my only strength. We have to remember that. That increases our trust and our faith. And the other Shabd from Guru Arjan, the Tati Vaho, that lover of God, is there is a circle of protection around the lover of God, the lover of Master, that circle of protection, nobody can touch him. We have to remember that. That's Guru Arjan's Shabd, the hymn from the Adi Granth. And it says that the hot wind cannot touch the lover of God, that everything becomes a blessing. Everything becomes a blessing. However, when we are in the character body, when we are in this world, sometimes our attention our attention forgets that God is our strength, forgets that He is our protector, and we have Him with us. We have the Master living in us, living in our heart, and He is constantly meditating on us. As they say, God is the greatest meditator because He is always looking and meditating on His beloveds, on His disciples, on His lovers. The beloved is always looking at his lovers. So he's with us all the time. And our life is in his hands. However, when we are in this world and we hear all the news from this negative world, sometimes we forget our own essence. We forget the protection of the Lord, and we get engulfed in the local phenomena. We get engulfed in this world and its affairs. And that is it totally like takes it totally like debases us, as Dr. Chant said, that we have to become like a silent observer and not entangle ourselves in the truth of this world, what's happening in this world. We should not care about it. We should be just a silent spectator and look at it from above. However, sometimes the character gets entangled and says, "Oh my God, what's happening?" When we see the news, when we see the news, we get scared. But the Master is with us. When I look at my life, and I have seen how much Father God, how much Master protected me, even before initiation, how He was in my life. And then when there were hard situations with the army when they stopped me and they were gonna beat me, how Master stepped in, and that was before initiation. And then instead of beating me, they became my friends, and they started joking with me. These things, and many stories that shows Master's hand in my life. Yesterday, Brother Dietrich was talking about how thieves came to a saint and wanted to steal from him, and how some power tied their hands. They came, he was to Saint Francis of Assisi. They wanted to Saint Spiridon. They wanted to steal his sheep, and some power tied their hands until he came in the morning and released that power, and then gave them a sheep. And I remember also a story when I had my car parked. I had my car parked because I had another car, so I parked it and I left it somewhere. And I would visit it once a week. One time I went to visit it and I saw the window broken, and somebody, thieves, tried to get in the car, and he tried to start the car, or they tried to start the car, but the car will not start. That battery died on that moment and that day to just save my car from being stolen. And the battery never died, but it decided to die on that moment. Just shows you the hand of Master, how he protects his disciples. And we have to just have full trust, and not be scared and moved by whatever happens in the outer life, because whatever happens in the outer life, it is just a story in the DVD. But we, as the lovers of Master, the lovers of God, we have God with us. We have the King of Kings. Nobody can come to the King of Kings. How many times the police stopped me, and then and I was guilty crossing red lights or whatever, and then they gave me back my license and they let me go. It is just the grace of Master in my life, in our life. And the more we depend on the God power, the more we do, the more he will do for us. The more we depend, that is like the secret, that is the secret, is when we let God do everything for us, then he will do everything for us. Then we don't need anything from the negative world. This is what my master Sant Singh taught me. He taught me that God will do everything. God will do everything. The more we depend on that God power, the more it will do for us. Even if we don't even want to go to worldly doctors or take worldly medicines or anything like that, God will do everything for us. That the Holy Shabd is our insurance against disease, is our healer power, is the power that harmonizes us, is the power that changes and mitigates our karma. So if we were supposed to get sick and we listen to that shab, that word God, that love coming from the kingdom of God in the form of celestial music and celestial shab, that will take care of everything in our outer life. The only thing is that we have to live in Master and become rich in his treasures. When we become rich in the treasures of God, when we have extra treasures of God from extra meditation, from extra seva, from extra moments of thinking of Master and God, then that extra treasure, which is in our account, can pay off our karma, our suffering karma, with with a little of it, with a little of it, a little of that treasure. It can pay off our worldly karma, and we don't have to suffer. That we go through the situations, but there will be no pain and no suffering, and everything will be mitigated. How many accidents I was supposed to have in all these years that I drove, and I could see them, and I could see the hand of Master just protecting me and saving me from all these situations. Many, 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 many examples I can say about the hand of Master in my life from my own experience. As Ishwar Puri Ji says, that this path is a path that is not based on blind faith, that this path is based on experience. This path is based on the experience. So in our daily life, we will start to see the hand of Master. This is the experience, to experience the hand of love being in our daily life, how it does for us, how it mitigates for us, how it arranges for us, that every moment our friend is with us, our best friend is with us, and he does everything for us. He can change poison into elixir. He can do whatever. Everything is under his command. When we are in his refuge, nobody can touch us. We are in the fort of God. Who can touch a child of a king in this world? He will be put to jail and he will be tortured. So the same thing. We have the King of Kings. The King of Kings, he is unseen, but he is there. He's unseen, but he is there. Ishwar Puri Ji said that in the beginning, we might not see him working for us. But at some point, in our spiritual development, we will see, like he said, he used to see Baba Sawan Singh. Then if somebody coming, like like for example a police or something, then Baba Sawan Singh will step and he will say, no, not this person, get away. That Ishwar Puri Ji saw Baba Sawan Singh do these things, and he said, we will start to even see God with our outer eyes in the form of the Master, doing for us everything and protecting us. So today I wanted to read a few poems from Saint Francis of Assisi. I hope you will like them. Um, um, they are so inspiring. Words of love, jewels from the kingdom of God. My master Santakar Singh used to say that every word that a master says is a jewel, is a diamond from the kingdom of God. And we can cash it here. We can cash these diamonds, these jewels that come out of the mouth of the master by living up to them. That is cashing them. He's saying, wring out my clothes. Such love does the sky now pour, that whenever I stand in a field, I have to wring out the light when I get home. But he's saying that now the sun cannot burn him. The sun only nourish him and becomes the light of God. Everything becomes friendly. And when the sun shines on him, it's like God shining on him. And when he's standing in a field, and he has to go home and meditate and wring out the light. So beautiful. This poem is called God's Admiration. God's Admiration. God's admiration for us is infinitely greater than anything we can conjure up for him. Wow, God's admiration for us is infinitely greater than anything we can conjure up for him. All what we can do for him is just say thank you, and thank you. Oh. Only love honors God, this poem says. Only love honors God. That sounds as if it could be true. But surely everything he made must be perfect. Only love honors God. That sounds as if it could be true. But surely everything he made must be perfect. Everything God made is perfect. When we look at it from above, when we see the whole picture, if we see only part of the picture, then we could see imperfection. But when we see the whole picture, as Ishwar Puriji says, then we see the perfection of God. Of course, I am jealous. We bless the earth with each step we take, and the firmament too needs our touch. Someday, your tenderness will reach it. Someday, we're going to become so tender, like Master. Look how the birds climb some invisible staircases and lay their hands upon him. Of course, I am jealous when I too can't do that. The seas waited long to sing, not until we leaped out laughing, as their birth of us complete. Tell me about your heart, my, okay. Tell me about your heart. My every word says, speak to me as if we both lay wounded in a field and are gazing in wonder as our spirits rise. Wow, beautiful. This poem says, in all things, it was easy to love God in all that was beautiful. The lessons of deeper knowledge, though, instructed me to embrace God in all things. This is very important. It is easy to love God in all that was beautiful, but the deeper lesson of knowledge is to love God with something that is not beautiful also, because he made both. We have to embrace the darkness and the light. Okay, this poem is called The Sacraments. I only spoke to my friend, an old squirrel, about the sacraments. He got so excited and ran into a hollow in his tree and came back holding some acorns, an owl feather, and a ribbon he had found. And I just smiled and said, yes, dear, you understand. everything imparts his grace. That the squirrel has his own blessings of the acorn, and whatever he found that has been laid down by the hand of love, given by love. And we too, everything that comes our way has come from the hand of love to give us nourishment, to just make us go one more step on the path of love. Okay, this poem says is called The Result of Prayer. The result of prayer is life. Prayer irrigates the earth and heart. Wow. The result of prayer is life. Prayer irrigates the earth and heart. Wow. As long as it, like Master says, as long as it's a prayer to get closer to God, as long as it's prayer to be with God, as long as it's prayer to find our true home, our destination, and become pure, these prayers are all um, irrigate the earth and heart. They irrigate our soul. In a vision, this poem is called In a Vision. I asked for the most intimate experience with the Christ. Wow. I asked for the most intimate experience with the Christ. Wow. I want to have an intimate experience with the Christ. No one would believe what happened in a vision more true than this world. Visions are more true than this world. The sacred chord pulsated light throughout the universe as I nursed my own Lord at my breasts. Wow, wow. He could, in his vision that was more real than this world, Saint Francis could see the Lord inside of him. Wow. Okay, the last poem. Dear God, please reveal to us your sublime beauty. Yeah. Yes, let's pray for that. Dear God, please reveal to us your sublime beauty. Please, please, please. That is everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. So that we will never again feel frightened. Wow. My divine love, my love, please let us touch your face. My divine love, my love, please let us touch your face. What isn't that so beautiful? Those poems of love. My divine love, my love, please let us touch your face. I want to touch the face of Baba Sant Singh. I want to play with his beard. I want to kiss his face. I want to, yes. So, wow. Well, thank you, Master, for the seva. Hi, Stephanie. um, so nice to see all of you. And I welcome my dear, thank you, Master, for the seva and forgive my ego and all that stuff from the character, Mike. Dr. Chand, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Michael, you always say and set the stage for a nice talk, and everybody feels that your experience of that spirituality in your life is so nice, and it motivates everyone to look for that and how the Almighty really helps each one of us. Now, today's topic is patience, that what patience is and how we can really understand this aspect of patience, because it is a divine attribute to have that patience. In one of the talks, it is said that if a gardener keeps on pouring 100 pitchers of water on a tree which he has planted last year, and it won't give you free fruits with those 100 pitchers if you are putting in there, because he thinks by putting more of water means more of effort, will get in the fruits of the tree. But the tree will give you fruits once the season comes. Some of the trees will give you fruits after 3 years, some of them 2 years. It depends, what kind of a seed you have sown and when the result will come. So now in life, there are things, where we got to have that patience, because it's a divine attribute. Look, that how at the level, at the divine level, where we, from such kind as Hans, we started our journey to have the experience of time-bound material creation created by Carl. So once we see his dream and we took a decision to come in. So there, whatever we wish in that region where time and material do not exist, if we wish anything, it happens the next moment. Because what we need, all that love and the facilities to love, are all there. As soon as we wish, it happens the next moment. But here, in this time-bound material creation, it takes time. And then it has to manage that material. And to do that, you need a patience. Because you have to see that how from a single cell you had graduated to the ground of creation 8.4 million species. So that energy, that soul, which is connected to Absolute and which is coming in here in the time-bound material creation, it has that patience to go through 8.4 million species gradually and to come up to this ground of creation, the human body. So patience is the key, that how we use this divine attribute while we are here. Now this mind, which spins into past and future and says and gives you that idea that mind is doing, and that's how the mind loses the patience. It doesn't work because it is so impatient. And that's how in some of the work which we do, we want those results the next moment. Whereas in the domain of time and material, it takes a systematic approach. So that patience, if we can have on things, that is what is most important, to remain happy and healthy. Because if we are worried, we can't meditate. Because the mind will keep on, pricking you for one thing or the other, and you can't meditate. And once you get connected, then that absolute really works and helps you in many things. As Michael was saying in his life, he has got many instances where he could feel that the Almighty is helping him at many stages, including today's talk. He said the battery didn't work at that moment, so his car was not stolen. Now look, how you feel those things, that how Almighty helps you. So you got to have a complete faith, and faith gives you that patience, that He is managing your system, He is managing your mind, He is managing your body. So allow Him to do that, because you already have decided to enter into a predestined life here, which you decided. Now you got to have that patience to go through. Say something bad is happening in your life. So you must understand that all this is predestined, and you got to have that patience, because all that will pass one day. It's time, it goes on. And if good things have not stayed with you, bad things will not also stay with you. So it is up and down cycle of time. And now here, the quality of patience will really help you to stabilize yourself. Otherwise, what you are doing, you are giving lots of worries, and those worries will not let you be healthy person, because this is what will spoil your health, because it is all mental. So mind is doing all this, and mind doesn't have its patience. And as you very well understand, many times you have known that the mind is going to create lots of doubts, whether this will happen or this will not happen. So now these doubts will make you impatient, and then you are losing your patience, and then you are blaming someone. And the Almighty says, please don't blame anyone. It is all that what you decided is happening. Now, if in this group where beautiful satsangs you always hear, and this is how you got to give that knowledge, that information to your mind, that this is how it is. So you should have that patience to go through it. And now once you have got that patience, then what really happens? You start remaining happy, because that patience gives you that kind of a confidence that whatever has to happen will happen. Let us go with the flow, as Ishwar Puriji also says. Let us go with the flow. And once you are not worried what is going to happen next moment, you have got that patience, then you will see gradually things are changing. All those things will keep on happening. But to bring that patience, you got to start practicing patience in real life. So don't run after the time, and don't run before the time. Sometimes you run ahead of time, you want to cover certain things. And sometimes if you have lost that opportunity, you are running after the time. So both the cases that's how it keeps you impatient. You don't remain patient. You can't claim that, and that's how you feel worried about it. Now the beauty is that, as we explain about the divine attributes, which is love, compassion, mercy, wisdom, humility, patience, is one of the attributes. This is a small area of the so many attributes which you have already got. And you have got a beautiful attribute known as let us face as it comes. There's an inherent ability in all of us. So in the times of distress, where things are not happening the way your mind wants it to be, because mind is impatient, he'll create this kind of a situation with you, because he keeps on running into past and future. And that is what makes you impatient, that when this will happen. So now if you start knowing this, then the life becomes so easy, that if you start adopting this divine attribute of patience, so you just do your job, whatever best you can, and then leave it. Leave it to the Almighty to do that. Because basically, He is running the whole system 24/7. The whole cosmos is being run by that energy. Even the, the mind gets the energy from that. The material gets the energy from that. Each atom is operating. So this is how in your system you see your digestive system, your blood flow, breathing is all going on. And the beauty is this, that it has got that ability of self-regulation of the human organism. Now look, it is already managing it 24/7. And now I could see that some of those people, who are sick, they won't take a medicine. And they said, I don't want any medicine because they have got that patience to go through that karma, that it is happening to them. And many a times the masters go through this, because some disciples said, no, you please initiate this, one of my friends, and he was trying to tell the master to do it. Master was saying no, but then he was insisting. So what really happened? The master immediately had that fever, and he cancelled all his other programs and went back, because they had that patience. They can go through it. So if we all start understanding these areas, then we develop that patience within us. And without getting worried about things to happen, what will happen, all those doubts. So, they say, Tera bhana meetha lage. And in Ramayana, they say that Us bid rahiye jis bidhi rakhe Ram. Means the way the Lord wants you to live, you live in his moj. He wants you to live like this. That's why all those conditions are there. And what the Lord wants, who's that Lord? Practically, you have understood that you are that Lord. Within yourself, you are that actually. And you have decided. So allow the Lord to do what He is doing. So that is what is patience. How we can really understand life and live the way it is. And that's what gives you such a beautiful area, that this, of course, this potential of patience is already in you, which you are not trying to explore. And that's why you are impatient. And that is what makes you so worried, and sometimes you take certain actions, and which for which you have to suffer reaction. Every action has got an equal and opposite reaction. So that prompts you to do a different karma, which is not good for you, because then you are getting trapped into that aspect, as you sow, so shall you reap. So the mind prompts you to do certain things, to get involved into time and material, in life and death cycle. So please understand the trick of the mind, because the universal mind, the Kal, doesn't want these souls to go back. He wants to keep them here for his work, because time and material is working. It is trying to show the future generations that his world is beautiful. And you are making it beautiful because your creative endeavors are doing it. You make such beautiful cars, which open automatically. The robots are driving it. Every time something good is happening, and Carl is trying to give you more attraction here in this world. If you understand this, that's why they say simple living and high thinking. That you have a very simple living without all those gadgets, because that keeps your body moving. You are healthy then. But sometimes we don't have that patience. We want to do things the way the mind wants us to do. So to counter this area of the mind, a beautiful attribute, patience, has to be adopted. I'll again say that these are all jewels, as Michael was talking in his talk today. So these are some of the jewels, and these jewels, these diamonds of these attributes, like love, compassion, mercy, wisdom, humility, state of art, planning ability, its execution ability, patience. All these are divine attributes. Now, these are all gems, So if you adopt all these, because my mother been talking about these 9 gems, you must have heard those satsangs of my mother, because I translated them. Somebody translated and I spoke on those satsangs of jewels. So patience is one of the jewels. If we adopt it, the life will change. We'll be much happier people. As I say, another divine attribute is wisdom. What wisdom is? Now you got to understand this wisdom attribute little differently as I understood it. Because this wisdom is it's one of the attributes of your attention, isn't that? As I explained, that the creative intelligence, which is connected to its source, and that creative intelligence is your soul, and the outer expression is your attention, which is like an omni-scanner. Now look how beautiful words have been formed. This omni-scanner means it is that light, and God is light. So this omni-scanner, what it does, how it works to give you that wisdom. That's a beautiful area to understand. This omni-scanner will look into the mind, and mind has got information of past and future. It's a huge chunk of data, and then this information is not of this life only. It is the astral of millions of years, from single cell to the crown of creation, the human body, then causal mind, then the universal mind, all that physics, chemistry, maths, everything. It's all tremendous amount of information all around you. Even Google Baba gives you tremendous amount of information you keep on gathering. Now this beautiful attribute, other than patience, is your wisdom. And wisdom means that this omni scanner can pick up those informations from the mind. And mind has got tremendous amount of information, and you can't really manage that information. So the absolute in you, the God sitting here with its beam of light, which is an omni scanner, picks up all those, out of those tremendous amount of informations, only those informations which are good for you. And then it makes you work on that. And that is what is known as wisdom. Knowledge is information. You have gathered so much of it. But then how to really use that knowledge is wisdom. What to pick up, and then on what to act upon. This is what is wisdom. And this is one of the gems with you. Now, as I'm explaining all these gems, so patience is also a gem, because you're waiting for that to happen. And if you lose your patience, then it will trigger certain actions out of you, for which you may have to repent later on. So now, if you have got that patience, you will not do that action or reaction which will make you tangled with time and material. Because Kal will never leave you, my dear. You are a creative intelligence. You are part of the Creator here. And He makes you do all that. So this is how the mind uses you. Because we have to now reverse it. And this is what needs patience. That we reverse this process, that the Absolute should use the mind, which is information, and Absolute should use the body, which is material. And then that energy, if it runs these two fellows, mind and body, the life will be beautiful. It will be full with divine attributes of love. As every day Michael talks about love and love, that wine he wants to drink every day, the cup of love. So this is how, if we really allow the soul to run our mind and body, then this is what will happen. And this is possible with only one thing, which is your patience. Allow your patience, and this patience will give you those intuitions, my dear, finally it comes like that. That these intuitions will start flowing in. You got to wait for that. You know, this monkey mind, which is all the time talking, trying to suggest you something or the other. It won't let you sit in peace. It'll keep on telling you. So to look into these areas, my dear, today's topic too, because Puneet suggested me, because I asked him, he said, on what topic you would like to speak? I said, you suggest. So Puneet suggested me, can you talk on patience? He must be trying to understand what patience is. So it's lovely, if the if the satsangis, we together, if you don't understand any of the things, you can always suggest a topic to the speaker. That this is what, please give us little more on that. Because once I was mentioning about Mr. Phelps, in the times of uh, Swamiji, that he said that the satsangis should talk to each other to sort out their problems of meditation, how to go a little ahead. So all this is that all satsangis can always put a point. That we want to clarify this area, and each one of us here who are sevadars, each one of us is unique. And that uniqueness really gives you new ideas. And in our management class, we used to call it as brainstorming. The same problem has been given to all the management students, and everybody will come up with a new idea. And with that new idea, the life becomes much easier. So I think we should always consult each other and talk about those points which we want to clarify. And I really know that Ishwar Puriji, without even, nobody used to ask him. But in satsangs, we used to get many, many clarifications out of his talk. It is so natural. Whatever satsangis want, in most of the, masters, they've been answering you without even your asking that question. Because they know many a times that these are the problems, and this is what they talk about it, and we get our answers. But since we are in this kind of a situation, we are all court revelers, So why not discuss with each other? And let's really help each other to get little more spiritual and to open up more floodgates of the intuitions which we get. So this particular talk of patience really gives you that ability to do that. Thank you very much for today's talk. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chand. I love that talk about patience. So wonderful. And it's a blessing to have Dr. Chand with us. His subtle voice, all his knowledge and wisdom. It's just Master giving us a gift. So thank you, Master, for. And does anyone want to sing for our Holy Master before I play? Before I play his video, if anyone wants to sing, let me know. There is many
Yes,
singers. Yes, yes. Who?
Bhavani.
Hi, Bhavan.
Hi, Michael. I'm sorry if I make any errors in the song is because I'm still in my sleep. But thank you so much for saving, and thank you, Dr. Chand. I heard the few minutes of your set song. It was absolutely beautiful. Um, sorry,
Thank
there's
you.
a
Thank
noise.
you very much.
Okay. I'm not too sure. There's a noise in the back. Okay, thank you. Um, Radha brothers and sisters, I learned this beautiful Christian song that was a reflection of Master's love to us all. So thank you, brothers and sisters, and thank you, Papa Ishwarji, for this savor. If there's any errors in my singing, please forgive me. You call the sun to rise, you lay it down to rest, you hold this heart of mine, you hold my every breath. Such an awesome master, so mighty, so holy, so wonderful you are. Such an awesome master, so selfless, so generous you are. Seated in your majesty, reigning in your holiness. The table is set for us. Such an awesome master. Sorry, it's just that I haven't learned the entire lyrics, so please forgive me. I did my very best. Thank you so much, Radha.
Wow, so beautiful. I swear. It's just your song makes me want to just dive my head into on Master's feet and put my head on his feet and keep it there. Thank you, dear sister. I hope like we have many singers like with us. I hope like every day somebody comes just natural and says, "Oh, I want to sing." That makes satsang so intense and beautiful and holy. So anyone who wants to like, he doesn't have to be on the schedule, just come up and say and sing, you know. There's always time for 3 minutes here and there where people can share their love. So thank you so much. And now I'll choose a video of our Holy Father Ishwar Puriji, and we'll play it, and we will just get nourished with the love of God. Okay, thank you.
Occurred to us, we might die suddenly any time. What is preventing us from realizing all the time that one day we will die? That this body is very temporary and we have to leave it. In India, there are yogis who wear saffron colored robes. Some of them don't know why they wear, but the old ones know why they're wearing saffron colored robes. That's the color of fire. It is to remind them every day that one day this body will be cremated in fire. Just to remind them that this is temporary, what you're wearing. And don't bank on this body for too long, it's going to go away. That they need a reminder, that people need a reminder that one day we will die, looks odd to me. We see people dying all around us. At my age, I have seen more people dying than most of you have seen. And yet I think maybe I can make an investment today in a bond that will give me yield after 10 years. I see old people of my age in their late 80s trying to make investments for 10 years, and they don't know in 1 second they can die. What is it in us that makes us feel that other people can die but not us? The real reason for that is that we never die. The real reason is that the consciousness which is making us feel that we will never die, is telling us the truth, that we will never die. Because we never die. The body dies. The death of the body is merely casting off a particular clothing we are wearing. It's just one of the garments, one of the covers upon ourselves. It's one of several covers. But inside these covers, we never die. The self of which I spoke in the morning never dies. It doesn't die because it was never born. It's a very difficult concept. Impossible for the mind to visualize. When did we come into being? When did our soul come into being? We say, once upon a time. You cannot say once upon a time when no time exists. You can say once upon a time when you are in a time frame. The time frame doesn't start till we get a mind and start using it. One of the garments. We put on a mind on ourselves, we put a sensory perception on ourselves, we put a physical body on ourselves, and time is everything for us. Time is the only thing that keeps moving, whether you like it or not. Time becomes our master. Time becomes our destiny. Time becomes our trap, the biggest trap. The biggest trap we ever had was time. And we can't think outside of time. It's impossible for the mind to visualize, to contemplate, to conceptualize what it would be like if there was no time. People tell me that there is one time where there is no time, and it's called now. I was surprised that there is no time in now, that now is timeless, and we are all living in now all the time. Somebody gave me a book to read, The Power of Now, how you can live in the now. And my question was, where else are we living? I've never met anybody who's not living in the now. I don't know anybody who has the capacity to live anywhere outside of now. They don't even have the capacity to go outside of now. And yet now has no time. Now, they say, is a meeting point between the past and the future. It has no time. Even a billionth part of a nanosecond is time. Before I can utter the word now, it's past. Before I uttered it, it was future. It never stopped. It didn't hold on at now. It became the past. And all I could do was to recall it from my memory. Because you can't experience the past except through memory. We have not been gifted with any other vision, any other method of looking at the past except through memory. We remember things. We can relive them by remembering visuals. We can remember words. We can remember events. But we remember. We use memory for that. The past is accessible only through memory. And memory means it's not happening now, it happened earlier. That's why we remember it. So past is already gone. What about future? At least there is something we can in store for us, our destiny, packed up in the future. And maybe future is flowing, and the experience of events flowing from the future are constituting our present. Not at all. If we did not have the capacity in reason to hope, to fear, or to anticipate, there would be no future. Did you ever realize that future, what we call future, is a function of these three functions of consciousness? We hope for things, we create a future. We are afraid of things, we create a future. We anticipate this will happen like that, we create a future. And these three things are not different. They are all anticipation. Anticipation of something good we call hope. Anticipation of something which is not so good we call fear. And what is neutral we call anticipation. It's the same thing. It's a function of the mind that creates a future. In order to hope, in order to fear, in order to anticipate, we need time. Doesn't matter if it's a second or more. And that leads us again into the past. Think of it very scientifically, and you will find that whatever we have called future was indeed the past. Because we had to create the future by hoping, anticipating, and fearing, which were all taking place in time, therefore they were the past. Now had no time at all. So now is a very strange situation that we are all living in a timeless state. Then how come it doesn't look like that at all? There is something happening which makes us feel we are living in the present. The present is merely a rapid, visual, multi-dimensional recollection of the immediate past. That's what we call present. There's no other present. When we say, when was this world created? And I give an honest answer now. It's an honest answer. Because there is nothing else. Without time, there is nothing else except now. If we go beyond the mind, what time frame will we go into? We'll go into now. Therefore, when we say we apply the rules of worldly time, we apply the rules of beginning, middle, and end, which were merely conveniences created to pack events into. The creation by mind of beginning, middle, and end, which we have given several names, including names of gods, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, in India. Who are these gods? They are merely to represent that time exists. And the beginning we call Brahma, and this middle portion we call Vishnu, and the end we call Shiva. We have given all kinds of names to these trinities because trinities create time. The experience of time that we are having is a very valuable thing for this kind of experience. It's a very valuable thing for having a non-body, ethereal body experience. It's also a very useful thing to have a pure mental experience. They all take place in time. With one difference. In the physical body, with this cover on, we deny to ourselves any other experience of time except the physical time. And this physical time is not governed by our experience but by our watches and clocks. That's another big trap. Supposing I am having a good time, having nice coffee with a friend, and I say, well, it's only 15 minutes have passed. I look at my watch, 1 hour. Oh, sorry, I didn't know 1 hour has passed. My experience was not 1 hour. My experience was 15 minutes. I believe the watch and not my experience. We are trapped. On the other hand, we sit for meditation. I want to sit for meditation for 2.5 hours. It looks like 3 hours. And I look at the watch, 15 minutes. No, I thought it was 2.5 hours, 3 hours. A friend of mine who was a regular meditator, lived in San Francisco many years ago, and invited me to come and visit him. So I came and stayed with him. And he said, very good, Ishwar, you are old disciple of great master, must have done a lot of meditation. I had to bite my tongue when he said that. And therefore, let's meditate together in the morning. I said, well, I wanted to sleep really. But he said, no, 3 o'clock meditation time. So to keep up faces, I had to get up at 3 o'clock also with him. And we both got up, and all in regular position, we squatted round, closed our eyes. At 3 o'clock sharp, we started 2.5 hours of meditation. Now, frankly speaking, I am not a good meditator because time and again my curiosity took the better hold of me to see what he's doing. So I opened the corner of my eye to see what he's doing. By coincidence, every time I opened my eye to see, he was looking at his watch. After 15-20 minutes, I said, let me see now what's going on. He was just doing very nicely. We sat 2.5 hours like that. And then he said, oh, it was a very nice meditation session. I said, it was, my friend. The only difference is you were not meditating at the third eye center. You were not meditating on your beloved master. You were not meditating on anything spiritual. You were meditating on your watch. When we are so conscious of how much time we are spending, do you think you can pull attention inside like that? Haven't we made it into a ritual already? That this is the nature of a trap around us, that we are caught up so much in this time frame. People say, do 2.5 hours of meditation. Supposing I was watching my watch for 5 hours, it meant nothing. And supposing for 5 minutes, my beloved master appears and pulls me inside and says, let's fly. Those 5 minutes will be more valuable than 2.5 hours looking at the watch. It's not the quantum, it's not the quantity, it's the quality of meditation that counts. Great Master explained to one of his questioners who asked, how much is good meditation? So that I can do the right time of meditation. Great Master said, in this world, in this life, a day and night consists of 24 hours. How much time are we giving to meditation? Supposing you decide to give 1/10, based on the old system that the tithes and the charity you give should be 1/10 of your net income. Let's say you give 1/10 of your total time every day available, every day and night. It'll be about 2.5 hours. If you spend 2.5 hours on meditation and spend 21.5 hours on other things, where will the scale tilt? To other things. It's not enough. 2.5 hours is not enough. Because you are spending far more time on other things than what you're spending on the real thing of meditation. Then, Master, how much should we do? He says, ideally, Great Master says, ideally, you should meditate for 21.5 hours and do other things for 2.5 hours. That's the ideal way. Master, how can we do 21.5 hours? We have other things to do in this world. We have jobs to do, food to cook, work to do, travel, all those things we have to do. How can we do 21.5 hours? He said, actually, it's very simple. If the work you do, you say you are doing that work not because of earning a livelihood or because you have to do it, but because you want to do it because Master says do it. It's meditation. If you can associate your Master to any work you are doing, it counts equal to meditation. Because meditation is the art of pulling your attention and you are focusing attention while doing work on something that will help you when you sit inside for 2.5 hours. If you are thinking of the Master, if you are doing your Simran, your repetition, while walking, cooking, doing your chores, daily chores, if all the time you're doing Simran and remembering the face of your beloved Master, it's as good as meditation. Great Master's own grandson, Purushottam Singh, joined the army and he was stationed somewhere about 100 miles away from the Dera. And one day he comes to Great Master, who was also his grandfather and also his master. He said, Master, I had decided my life will be dedicated to you. I'll sit near your feet and do meditation, and that'll be my life. But where have you sent me in destiny to join a military camp somewhere? I'm so far away, can't come and see you. I think I should resign my job and come and sit at your feet and be devoted to you. Great Master said, go back and join your unit. When you do any work in that job, think you are doing for Master, it's as good as meditation and better than sitting in my feet and thinking of other things. He explained meditation is not merely a ritual. We make it into a ritual. Meditation is what we should continue all the time. Every time you remember your beloved, you are in love. It's meditation. Every time you can think of that Master of yours, it's meditation. When you miss your Master, is it not meditation? Is it not the growth of love and devotion in you? How would you miss your Master? Therefore, if we are doing this all day's work, with continuous repetition of our Simran, with thought of our Master, remembering his face, remembering small events that have happened with him, if we are doing that, it's equivalent to meditation. It prepares you for future journey as much as sitting down with your eyes closed would do. Therefore, meditation has to be done all the time. What about night time when we sleep? Great Master explained, if you do meditation for half an hour, just before you sleep. That meditation will continue during your sleep. Supposing you are repeating the Simran, the words, for half an hour just before sleeping. You wake up in the middle of the night, you'll find you're still repeating that. Repetition of words is to control the mind, not to think of other things, and can be made into a habit. Repetition of words, the mantras, is not necessarily to lead you anywhere. It's for local use. It is only for use. Meditation by repetition of words takes you nowhere beyond the astral plane. It does not take you beyond the mind at all. It's a mental function to repeat words. But the repetition of words, when we make it a habit, which we can do by trying to repeat all the time. If you make it a habit, it becomes very easy. Repetition requires no effort at all. It becomes a habit of the mind. And you know the mind is habit forming, always habit forming. It forms one habit after another. If you make a habit of repeating the words and you go to sleep, after half an hour of meditation on words, the words continue throughout the night. You wake up in the morning, you are still meditating. Therefore, great master said, if you follow this, what about the missing 2.5 hours? You said you should do 21.5 hours. This way you can do 24 hours. Great master said, no, I am allowing for some 2.5 hours when your mind and attention is required for some important paperwork or some important meeting where you have to give your attention. That is normally not more than 2.5 hours. The rest is routine. So he gave a tip on how to do meditation for 21.5 hours. Otherwise, we are trapped in time. Events have been loaded into this time, and we are being dragged by those events through attachments, desires. There's nothing that binds us here except desire leading to attachment. We get attached. Then we can't get rid of that thought. If you want to know who you are attached to, what your attachments are, try meditation. It's a very good way. When you try to sit behind the eyes, all those things will come back and pull you out. It's like being tied down by ropes all over. You see so many strings tying you out. This one pulls you, then this one pulls you. You try to pull back. You say, no, I want to meditate. I don't want to remember this. That's such a sad situation when we have to fight the mind like that. Because supposing all the time you say, my mind is trying to think of other things, I want to bring it back to meditation. I start my repetition, I start my Simran. The mind starts thinking something else and I am not repeating. I suddenly find out I am not repeating the words, I am thinking of something else. And I say, no more, and I start repeating again. Then the mind comes and pulls something else, and I find after a few seconds, after a few minutes, I am not repeating the words at all. I pull it back and fight the mind. If this is the style of meditation we are having, what will happen after 2.5 hours? We'll be totally tired and exhausted because we did such a big battle. We thought we won every battle with the mind, and yet we lost the war. We lost the war because we spent all our time fighting. So it has a very limited role to fight with the mind. It's a limited role till we can convince ourselves that there is something worth looking for. When we say there's something worth looking for, and we explore the space inside, not only repeat like a parrot, but repeat in order to not think of other things as much as possible and explore what is happening inside. Go around, fly, look up, look on the side, stay in the center. If we start doing that, we get some visions, some experiences. Stars come up, colors come up, different kind of experiences come up, waterfalls consisting of lights come up. Simple experiences start coming up. Illuminated experiences come up. We see buildings lit up with light. We see we are flying over some land. All those little experiences make it interesting to stay there. That is necessary. That takes away the fight with the mind. Meditation should be treated as if it is a scientific exploration of the space inside your head behind the eyes. If that is not done, then we are making it a ritual. Then what's the difference between going to a temple or a church or a synagogue and just attending service and come back the same way we went. Instead of going that, we are now doing 2.5 hours. Willy-nilly, somehow we are doing it. What are you doing it for? You're not obliging anybody by doing that. You're supposed to do it to get something out of it. And to get something out of it, understand why we are doing it. We are doing it because our attention has been thrown outside and we are unable to look what is happening inside. If we do happen to look inside, strange things happen better than just flashes of light or flashes of color. You're able to pull inside. You find you have another body of yours. A totally different body. A body that does not follow the laws of physical nature. Just like a dream, which is a lower state of level of consciousness. It looks like a lower state of level of consciousness. Just like when we go to dream, the laws that operate a dream do not apply to the physical world. For example, in a dream you can fall off from a cliff and you don't get hurt. In a dream you can be in one location, you can be in Los Angeles today and you can be in Chicago 1 second later, it looks normal in a dream. It doesn't look normal here at all. Therefore, the laws that control the experiences at different level are different. When you withdraw your attention to your astral self, you find the laws are different. Even the time is different. Even the nature of time is different. Here, time is completely out of your control. You cannot hold even a nanosecond. It flows. It looks like time flies. Or maybe you are flying over time. And time is static, or maybe time is flowing, you are static, something is happening, but you have no control over it. At least in the astral plane, you have some control over it. You can hold a particular experience for as long as you like. You can't do that here. The nature of time is different. Time still flows. Events still come the same way. Because when we talk of an astral self, when we say we have an astral body inside this body, and when we leave the physical body, we go to astral body. What is the astral body made up of? Have you ever contemplated what is that body? This body we know is made of these cells and substances and blood and skin and tissues. We know what this body is made of. Do we know what the astral body is made up of? The astral body is made up only of sense perceptions. And there's nothing else in it. It has the capacity to have all the sense perceptions we are having in the physical body, except they are much sharper. Because the cover upon the sense perceptions is not there, and this body provides a cover upon them, and we see through the physical system. The sense perceptions per se are the astral body. Therefore, the astral body takes the same shape as this because we are using the same shape of this body to experience our sense perceptions. Our tactile sense, our sense of smell, the way it's located on the physical body appears to be the same way it's located there and looks like it's an overlap. We would not be able to have any sense perceptions if we did not have an astral body. When we say we are seeing something, we are actually seeing with the astral body through a cover, through the lenses of the physical body. If that were not there, we wouldn't see. We wouldn't be able to touch. We wouldn't be able to do anything that we call sense perception. Astral body is made up of sense perceptions and provides the sense perceptions through the physical body to the extent it can. If your eyes get musty, your lenses get dark, and you've got cataract and you can't see clearly, it's a physical ailment. It's not an astral ailment. A person who has this problem, when he meditates and goes into the astral body, he has better than 20/20 clear vision. Everything looks so clear there. The rules that apply to that state are different than the rules that apply here. Time is one of the factors where you can check that you can stop time, stop an event which you can't do here. But you can go further. Supposing you withdraw your attention from the astral self and go to the inner self, which is the creative self, the causal self, which has caused all experience to take place, which has created time and space, which has created everything, which has created the universal mind, which has created all that the mind can ever imagine, which has been worshipped as the ultimate creator by most of the people, including the gurus and masters, the yogis. They have called that the ultimate stage. Because there's nothing more than you can visualize, aspire for, desire for, seek for, than that with your mind. When you reach that state, you wonder what is that made of? We have left our physical body, at least the awareness of it we have left behind. We have left the awareness of sense perceptions behind. What are we having the awareness of now? We are having awareness of direct perception, of concepts, of things that make up things. We are able to experience that with that causal self. What is the causal self? What's the substance that makes the causal self? It's nothing but our own mind. The mind is the causal self. It's not there's a body in which we have a mind. The mind is the body. The mind is the causal self and creates everything. That has no form because it does not operate either in the astral self or in the physical self through these forms. Therefore, it's formless. We create a form for the sake of experience, and it can create any form. But we create a sort of formless form with it. And our speed of flight, our speed of experience is so rapid. It's the most rapid speed of experience you can ever have. And that is only because it's the speed at which the mind can think. Thinking is one of the functions of the mind. Thinking is a function of the causal body. Thinking is like a heartbeat of this physical body. This physical body survives on heartbeats. It survives with the blood circulating, carrying all the nutrition everywhere. Otherwise, the body doesn't last. Like that, thoughts, the thinking process, the process of continuously speaking out, either in words, language, or otherwise. That's the function of the mind, and without that, it dies. Therefore, even in the physical body, when you think of your mind, it'll always be speaking. It's the greatest speaker. It's an endless speaker. It speaks continuously. There's no way you can stop it. I have yet to meet a person because we constantly talk of stilling the mind. Unless you still your mind, you can't get anything. How do you still your mind? There was a colleague of mine at Harvard University who said he had succeeded.
If you want to eat healthy and feel your best, you gotta try Kachava. Kachava is the world.
Let's try today meditation behind the eyes with love and devotion, where you visualize your beloved